Oops. Oh, there we go. There we go. Everyone going out. Everyone going out. So, today is August 9th. The kind of starting to get into mid-August for the summer tub update for 2025. Not a whole lot of change at this point, but we'll hit the high points, maybe look a bit more at the plants. Aphanes vladicovi tub's doing well. Seeing the juveniles and fry are really growing out now in here. Let's see if we can see. There's a big cluster of them right by the Xanadeshia here. Yeah, let's see. You can see a bunch of them right there. You know, some of them are getting half an inch, over half an inch. Definitely I've seen some bigger ones hanging around. I've noticed that, well, at least when I grew a bunch of these out in 2022, they grew very, very fast. Faster even than Aphanes mento. So, yeah. But yeah, I mean, you can look here, there's what, you know, just in this little spot, it looks like at least a dozen. Definitely enough to keep the project going. The Papalopan platy tub, not a whole lot going down in it. Still got, you know, the Halloween medaka fry in here. Some still quite small, but I don't feel like the numbers that I've had before, so maybe they're getting picked off by the platies. Spearmints really really blooming right now. You can see that that is a syrphid flower fly hanging out on it. The in the Iliodon tub, the taro is really throwing off some big leaves. Over to the Halloween tub, you know, just continuing to grow these guys out. Got a lot of them, getting, well, a lot of them over half an inch, a bunch of them over 3/4 of an inch. And then still some little guys hanging around, which is different than last year with the golds. I remember I had a bunch of golds that were all roughly the same size and very few smaller ones. But yeah, at this point, you know, we got, I mean, none of these guys are really like small. Like none of them, at least in this tub, are, you know, fresh juveniles, which is, you know, at this point, that's actually what I want in the season. Because, you know, I mean, we'll see when I end up taking these guys in, but it's probably going to be, you know, they've probably got another month to 6 weeks out, and then I'll be taking down this tub. And getting a bunch of little tiny juveniles at this point, they're not going to be very big by the time I take this down and bring them in. Moving over to the Ziphophorus domestic strain tub. Not seeing anything, which is not surprising, considering that that's basically how it's been. So yeah, not messing around with Ziphophorus next year. You know, still considering getting mollies. We will see how that goes. Honestly, I kind of would rather do more egg layers at this point. They seem to do better outside, or, you know, more Gadiads. They also seem to do okay, even with the Scyphia issues I've had this year. The Hikari tub, these guys continue to grow out. Yeah, and they're looking quite good. Seeing more of them that actually show the Hikari trait, which is nice. Hopefully I can get a good enough group to work with them. Next year I was just, you know, not having to deal with hats, just breeding Hikaris to Hikari. Yeah, and then I don't know what I'm going to do with the non-Hikari ones that have been produced this year. You know, a lot of them look like my old gold strain, so maybe just resurrect the gold line? I don't know. Over here in the Valencia tub, let's see if we can see any of the juveniles. There's some getting some decent size on them, you know, getting, it's not, Valencia are a slow growing fish, so, you know, some of these guys are over 3/8 of an inch, maybe even getting a little bit, you know, closer to half an inch. So for Valencia, that's pretty good growth rate. Yeah, so I'm happy with that. There's one right there. Can we see them? Yeah, those. You can see those glowing eyes that they have as juveniles. Yeah. Okay. Going to the turtle tub. We will see. Oh yes, there his head's out for the moment. There's the turtle giving us a look. See? Hello, hello. Oh, now he's gone under. Yeah, turtle's doing good. Next year, I'm thinking I'm gonna try to figure out a way to have this tub not have green water. You can see one of the Mayukis hanging out right there, starting to develop the iridescence towards the tail. So yeah. Oh, and there's another one. Oh, it's darting around. Yeah, there's another one. So yeah, hopefully I've got enough Mayukis to continue the line. Okay, over to the other Halloween tub, as we got cats playing in the dirt, enjoying themselves, as they do. Yeah. Causing trouble, as is their nature. Yeah, over to the other Halloween tub. These guys are getting real big, and you can see some of those black and white ones that are very bluish. They look super nice. I'm really excited to continue working with those next year. And then, yeah, I'm still trying to figure out, kind of like with the Hikaris, what I'm going to do with the solid orange ones that don't have any black modeling on them. We'll just see, I guess. There's quite a few of those in this tub. Okay, and also, much like the other Halloween tub, not very many small guys left in this one, which is fine. Okay, the muck bucket. These guys are starting to really put on some size. I mean, there's still a bunch of little guys like right here. I don't know if you can see them through the reflection, but a bunch of little fry. But even these guys are starting to put on size. But you can see over here, you know, we've got some of these guys are getting half an inch in this muck bucket, and there's a ton of them in here. So yeah, you know, just looking at the numbers, you know, keeping fingers crossed. You know, all other things, you know, not having any unforeseen problems. Yeah, should definitely have Halloweens to sell this fall. Not a whole lot happening in the small Aphanius Mento tub. In the rectangular Aphanius Mento tub, you know, kind of more of the same old, same old. Can't see any right now, but there definitely have been juveniles hanging out in the open water here. So yeah, they're doing fine. Got a bunch of juveniles though in this main Aphanius Manta tub, as you can see right there. That's just one cluster of them. So yeah, I mean, we'll see if these guys are sexed out by the fall, but even if they're not, I've got ones from last year that I'll be, you know, wholesaling, and then these guys, at least looking at the size of them, they might be ready to wholesale in the spring when they're, you know, will be fully sexed out. You can tell we're getting later in the season because the water lettuce is starting to get some red on it. Or not water lettuce, water celery is starting to get some red on the leaves. It really didn't, this water celery, none of the ones that I've had, I mean, they've done okay for themselves, but they haven't really had the booming growth that I've had in previous years. I think probably because of just the massive algae. I would say, I mean, we've had decent plant growth this season, but definitely prior years I've seen much more, especially from this this papyrus, which again, this is one that I overwintered, and that's the thing. A lot of these plants that you overwinter, they don't bounce back as well as the ones that you buy from the nursery, because those have been, you know, been raised in a greenhouse. Often, you know, like they're getting much warmer temperatures months before the stuff you put out here, I mean, that you've overwintered out here, so they just are in more of a position to grow quickly. Looking at the Jordanella tub, I'm not seeing a whole lot of action here. Every once in a while I see a small fry. So I'm guessing there's probably not a ton of production, but at least some, you know. So yeah, and this is not necessarily a species that I want to produce a gazillion of. So I'm okay with it not going crazy. This little strawberry mint, that I overwintered hasn't hardly grown at all, but it is throwing off flowers. Guessing it's not going to make it through this winter. And then the monkey flowers that I bought from the nursery this year have stopped flowering. I don't know if there's seeds on them or not. I mean, they definitely look like they got seed pods, but I've opened a couple of them and haven't found anything. The mixed medaka tub, this one does have a bunch of little dinky guys in it. And I'm gonna, continue feeding them, try to grow them out, because I'm not planning on selling these at all this fall. Just to see what pops out of here, just for the potential of, getting interesting things, because the only way you get new strains is by mixing, strains with, existing strains with each other. So yeah, we'll just see what comes out of this. It's provided that they don't produce a gazillion of them, which it doesn't look like they will. Yeah, we'll just, get a few things, and then I don't know if I'll do anything with them next year, but there is the potential. Yeah, these Australia cannas, really growing in, but not going as crazy as they did last year. I mean, they were 3 foot high last year, twice as tall as they are right now, and we're also throwing off flowers, which they haven't done. Going to the Scyphia tub. Haven't seen any fish in here. Still feeding it, but not seeing fish. And tons of Daphnia, which again, if there was heavy fish production, you'd expect to see the Daphnia population really be reduced. So I don't know if there's what's in here. Like I've said, I think I said in the previous video, this will be one of the first tubs that I take down. Be interesting to pull out the because that's all just one orange mint plant that's taken over most of the tub. Be fun to pull that out and see just how much it's produced. Then the Iliodon tub, kind of going green water, and obviously just massive quantities of algae. But the juveniles are still hanging around, looking good, and yeah, it's can't complain. So, but yeah, that's kind of just what the tubs have been doing over the last week, and yeah, we're just in that phase. We're in the late season now, where it's growing stuff out and getting it to size, so that when we bring it in, I can move it on relatively quickly. And I say that, I don't breed this stuff. I'm not doing this like as a for-profit thing like some people do. I just enjoy, putting the fish outside and breeding them, and honestly selling them is kind of a pain in the butt. But yeah, because I don't really have a great venue to sell stuff locally. I end up wholesaling it, because I know someone was asking me where I sell my stuff. I end up wholesaling my stuff mainly to Dan's Fish. So yeah, come fall, late fall, like November, start checking Dan's Fish. You might see some of this stuff popping up there. Anyway, have a good one, and let me know how your guys' tubs are doing.